the heck are we?
We are what we observe. Think about who observes us the most. We do. Our consciousness observes us. So when we observe ourselves from a different perspective, we begin to create a different version of ourselves. Until we feel that we're worthy, we will always self-sabotage. We will always push it away. I was an asshole, man. Massive asshole. Holy shit. And you know what? That was quite a learning experience. Every day is an opportunity to create an experiential and educational masterpiece. Every day is an opportunity to become who I want to be.
Let's guzzle down some bliss. I love you. Be blessed.
You're going to get absolutely blasted and injected with bliss today. Welcome to the Blissful Breakfast with Breeg. Jade is back again. And honestly, we have a phenomenal show today. We start talking about teachers and perspectives, and we move into quantum physics and how we create a reality, into how to love yourself. So we're going to go ahead and play that, and it's beautiful. It's going to be a good time.
You'll love it. I have always sought truth, right? That for some reason, that is incredibly, incredibly important to me. And, it's like I threw away my life to seek truth. Like when I made an intentional choice to go on a faith journey in search of truth, because my truths were not making sense anymore. And I no longer trusted some of these leaders. And this all started, I'm going to be honest, like with the 2020 elections. That was when my deconstruction really started. And, I had a baby. I had severe postpartum depression. It wasn't going well. And still it was like that, like I needed that truth to anchor onto. And so it's like, as a seeker of truth, I found it and I think as somebody also who is prone to see things in black and white, in black and white thinking, right? It is like, that does not work. But, it is, I have realized like it is something from childhood. And so I can reprogram myself because, what we've learned about neuroplasticity, like we have that ability, which is phenomenal. Anyways, going back to the teachers, I've always been, I realized that I've kind of been angry with them when I've observed that their teaching is untrue or incorrect. And I've kind of attached that as like a character thing. And in that, I haven't seen their humanity. Isn't that kind of fascinating? Like I put them on this pedestal because they were a leader and expected so much out of them. And then I didn't give them grace. And what I'm learning now is that truth is almost like something that, like the understanding of truth is something that evolves within us. It's almost like we go from higher truth to higher truth to higher truth. Like, yes, these things are true that we experience at one level, but then we experience new levels of truth. And I don't know, I think it's important that we approach giving our teachers grace because, like you said, we will move out of different teachers in different seasons, but that doesn't make the ones that we learn from like bad or wrong in a lot of ways. It might just be a different level of truth, or it might be a different perspective on a truth, or incomplete, and fully recognizing that our perspective is always incomplete, right?
Oh yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, I go through these cycles of like these growth cycles where it's almost like I outgrow my own truth. And so I have to let something die, and it's really painful. And I think as I'm getting prepared to step into sharing my truth publicly, that scares me because I will outgrow this on some level, some way. Like,
yeah,
I'm going to be challenged and have to move deeper into it. And there are going to be like teachings or perspectives that I've had that don't fit anymore.
Absolutely. I think I expect that I'll completely shift my perspective every 3 years because that's kind of the cycle. Once it started, it just kind of kept going. I would be in this new season, new realm, and then I would learn something else, and that would sort of flip things up into a different area. And it's just, That's a part of the process. It's juicy. And it's funny you say the word truth. I like abandoned the word truth a while ago. I feel like it doesn't have a lot of meaning because and I'm like you. I'm fine. I'm looking for the truth, spending my life looking for what's real, what is the actual case. And it's so more deep than that. There's so many more perspectives. And, we started this conversation talking about like teachers and being okay with shifting out of different teachers and what resonates with us. And just like, I think for me, not using the word truth, and not that that's a bad word. I think that's just a personal ego, like stigma I have attached to it.
I get you with the word truth. Even as I say it, like it's just something about it isn't enough, or it's almost a negative connotation because it's like speak your truth thing has gotten a bit big.
Yeah. And it's usually like, attached to people who I feel are too dogmatic or too rigid in their belief. And it's not necessarily truth. They're just using that word to justify that they know they're right. So, but it's not bad. It's just, that's my frame. Yeah. That's our frame of reference for it.
Yeah.
But letting go of like thinking that, I need to find what's true and what's right, and judging those teachers or other people for like, because whatever they're teaching or wherever people are at that's going to be perfect for a lot of people to hear, to understand. That's going to be perfect for them where they're at right now. And maybe that's not for me right now. And yeah, there doesn't have to be judgment on that. It's like, it's so freeing when I like, don't have to be like, okay, I found the truth now. Everyone else is wrong unless it's this. And just to like, let that go a little bit, like, oh my gosh, I'm always going to be wrong. There's always going to be something new. There's different levels for different people, and not levels in like a hierarchy way, but there's just different experiences and perspectives that are relevant for different people. And it's much more freeing in that space of the unknown and like harboring like the cognitive dissonance, just like having multiple different beliefs or perspectives or possibilities at once.
Yes. How do you like, gosh, if we could put a word to this, like what it's reminding me of is this, that picture we were talking about of God being in the ocean and we're a drop, it's like, it's all, it is what it is, it's like, we're just living this fucking experience.
Indescribable. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, it's less, I guess, less about truth and just more about experience.
Oh, that's a good one.
I mean, there is something about like honesty, right? Like, I don't know. I find honesty to be fascinating. I like honesty versus lies because I don't know. I guess it's because I lie to myself and I don't even know when I'm doing it sometimes. Like,
interesting.
And I wonder how many else of us do it. But no, truth. Yeah, everything is perspective. Because it's all like where we are in this collective consciousness, right?
Mm-hmm. And since our like inner world creates our outer world, our consciousness creates matter. I heard one teacher say there is no Newtonian truth. That it's going to be different everywhere. And since our consciousness creates our reality, that truth, the realness of what individuals' experiences is different. And that kind of goes back to the RAS a little bit. You can kind of explain it scientifically of like what you're focusing on is what you're going to experience. But you can still pull back and say, well, yeah, but everything is still true. Like everything is still, what it is. There's this foundational thing, but it's the weird thing is it's like, is it though? And like, can you like measure everything and like record everything in existence? And is it? And I always was frustrated by the analogy of like the tree falling in the woods. Well, if no one was there, did it really fall? I'm like, of course it did. It fell. The tree was there. And I still don't know if I like that example, but I am now more open to the like, well, what if out there, that forest there doesn't exist until I walk out the door and look at it and my consciousness brings it into reality.
I want to get to the point of grasping that better. Something that I'm able to grab onto like every once in a while, but I know that there's gold there because it is like this whole theory of it's quantum. It is quantum because of these what are they called? Probability clouds.
Oh yeah, probability clouds.
Atom is unobserved, it creates a probability cloud. When it's observed, then it takes its pattern.
Yeah.
And so it's like these things may only exist under observation.
Yeah, that blows my mind. And I mean, that goes, more into the quantum physics of the particles and the waves, and waves can become particles and vice versa. And it's just like, what?
So then who are we?
What the heck are we?
We are what we observe. Think about who observes us the most. We do. Our consciousness observes us.
Mm.
So when we observe ourselves from a different perspective, we begin to create a different version of ourselves. Now, here's a really interesting thing is when you practice visualization in a meditative state, when you've slowed your brain waves down to a theta state, a delta state, and an alpha state, and you practice visualization, your brain doesn't know the difference between that and reality. And you are the neural pathways you need in order to do that more smoothly in an unconscious state. It could be, so we are 95% of the day we are unconscious, right? We are moving out of our subconscious brains that is filtering everything, which is why that initial program that we get from 0 to 7 years old is so important. But yeah, so it's like, where are we going with this?
Just the nature of reality.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, do things only exist? And then on a collective level, oh, dude.
It blows my mind is the intersection of collective, of different souls, of different people with ourselves. That intersection blows my mind because I can see the reality around me shift and change as I really dial in my awareness and my consciousness. But how is that affecting like my wife, like Mary? Like I've done tests where if I am really like, let's say things are not looking how I want them to look. The morning was insane. Mary, my partner, is really frustrated. I didn't get up, or I didn't do a certain thing. And then the kiddo, she is going nuts. It's like a weird ass morning. And just like life around me is like not how I want it to be. People are frustrated. And I like when I do the test, like look inward and be like, okay, I'm bringing this stuff into my world for a reason, but now, okay, how can we change that? Can we shift that just through my awareness? And I like usually when I'm really mindful and really at my best of like, okay, I'm going to love this. This is amazing. This is fine. I'm going to control my reality. So I'm just going to, what's in me that needs awareness and attention right now. And if I can actually focus on that and just like, feel into the bliss. And so get my brain believing that this is true and just like focus on, first I have to like go to at what's unresolved in me. And then I go to like visualizing like what I want to see. And if I really sit there, like really do it, because it's hard, like in about 30 minutes, 45 minutes, maybe an hour, like attitudes changed, things like I start seeing things different. Now, not like always, but often when I'm really dialed in, I can see that shift and change. But like, it's just so fascinating because like it's not all about me. Like there's different souls, there's collective, there's like all sorts of stuff going on. Like what's going on in Mary's world. So like, I don't know. I don't get it, how it all works. I would love to pull out and look at the framework of intersection of the science and the quantum physics of how reality really works. Cause it's still crazy.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh, that was beautiful. So I was wondering if you could give an example, but then I realized like, I've kind of noticed this too. Like when I do those check-ins and then I'm like, wait, where am I going? Where do I want to go? How can I get there?
Yeah.
And then it's like The kids do just seem to behave better because I am in control of myself now.
Yeah.
I think I think we could observe it energetically. I mean, like, to the extent that we can observe energy, I think it could be explained energetically because we're always emitting a frequency. We are energetic beings. That's why if our heart stops beating, we need that electricity, right? And actually, like, the brain and the heart both have this electromagnetic field. And when they're in coherence, like, we just go, it's really cool. Like all the Joe Dispenza stuff, right?
Oh, dude. Love
so
me
cool.
the Joe Dispenza.
Oh, and so when we're in a frazzled state, we're emitting a low vibration and we're actually pushing that on to people. Because, you can feel that when someone comes in the room too, right? Think about it. We are 99.99999% energy and very little matter. Yet we are seeing the matter. That's all we're really seeing.
Yeah.
But the energy is more real than the matter.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's hard to wrap your head around. I think maybe that's if we slap this as an episode, I think the kind of the takeaway and the practicality of exploring this quantum field is like, okay, how can that better our day? How can we get more blissed out? And so when we take like the idea that the energy is more important than the matter, the physical, and we can direct the energy because our thoughts are things, our words are powerful. I love how you mentioned spell when you write stuff down. Spelling, like you're casting a spell, like you're creating something in this world. You're directing energy. So then we can direct the energy. We're the directors of our own energy. We can change matter. I heard like.
Yes.
Oh, what is it? Ooh, it just escaped my mind. So like the things we see around us is a reflection of our past, and it's our past energy direction manifests in the physical, in the real world. So everything you see around you is the past. It's not true
because it's your filter. So you're filtering everything through your past. So you are projecting your past.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah.
It is.
Is that different than, so that is true. And like everything you see around you is just the manifestation of you an hour ago, a year ago, or whatever of your thoughts.
Oh yeah. I can totally see that. I hadn't thought about it from that perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. So that, if you like, understanding that helps me not to get triggered by my surroundings as much. Like it still happens. It's still like, oh my God, what the heck is all this stuff? But if you stop yourself, oh yeah, this is my past energy manifesting in real life as matter. So now I'm going to shift my mental thoughts now, but maybe I won't see a change right away because we're still learning and growing in our consciousness and figuring out our superpowers. Yeah. But now I can change my thoughts and not expect to see results in 5 minutes, but maybe in a half an hour, I'm really going to start seeing stuff. So if I can hold on to those mental patterns and the things that I want to see, and I won't get as worried about what I'm seeing right now. And that gives me some like comfort, makes it a little easier for me to enter into bliss and to change my reality on the daily.
I love that because I'm writing this down.
Yeah, it's good.
Around you is a reflection of your past energy, essentially, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Because we are always creating. That's the thing, like Joe Dispenza talks about, like, are you creating out of a memory from the past or a vision of the future?
Yeah.
Like you just explained it in a way that motivates me to like apply it on a moment by moment basis. Cause it's like, it kind of catches me like, oh wait, no, I'm creating. What am I? Yeah. I'm going to see that soon. And also, so almost like that, like don't create something shitty right now because you will see it. And the shitty things are because you created them. But also that like, yeah, like it just like when we focus, like it comes. Like where attention goes, energy flows. And when we're creating consciously, like there's that lag time, like the thing about living on earth, like, like it takes time, but in the meantime, it's like, how much energy are you going to put toward creating that thing that you want? And how much energy are you going to put toward recreating the shit you don't want that you should just leave back there?
Yeah.
Through like every moment of staying fixated on frustration, every moment of like unforgiveness, or like of resentment. So like, no, I'm just going to keep recreating this again and again.
Yeah.
Married a man from hell.
Yeah. Absolutely. And what's interesting is, from my understanding, like all the techniques that like you do, I know you're a wealth of knowledge in a lot of stuff, but the basic techniques to get us to be in the present moment, your breathing, your meditation, you're walking in nature, you're slowing your mind down, you're whatever you can do to stop the chatter. It's like, the reason those are so effective is that we're not that great at manifesting. We're not that great of controlling our thoughts. So if at the least we can get rid of the junk thoughts and to go back to nothing, to pure like just presence, we will be able to flow in a beautiful manifestation of our life, just by not by like, yeah, I'm like a billionaire. I'm visualizing me on this like ocean, beachfront property, and like all, if like, that actually can actually be detrimental, what I've heard. And I actually think that's true, because you if you get to a point where you don't believe it, and then you start like your body kind of overreacts to it, and it's like, oh yeah, but I don't have that now. Then you get back to a state of lack of like, oh, well, I don't have that. And then you'll produce more of that feeling, because it's more about the feeling than the actual thoughts.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know what? It's better just to reset it, and then just to get to just silent peace. That's why the basics work, right?
Yeah.
You find that that's true, Jade?
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, absolutely. Like we need that baseline state, because otherwise we're still in our conscious, like we're still, there's restoration happens when we hit that flat line of becoming no one.
Yes.
Like that is where like Joe Dispenza talks about it, and I feel it. Like that's where the power is, baby. And on that note of the, like wanting to be like have the yacht and and like the things we want to manifest, like we got to move with the ladder of believability, which I think is where some of us put ourselves up, because we have to be able to manifest it first on like a body level. Like we have to feel that, like, oh yeah. And we have to feel worthy of it. Like self-worth is such a big
yeah, dude, that's a good one, Jade. Man, I'm bad at this, because I want to go for like the biggest things, and then I get caught in it. It's so easy. But you hit on a really good point of like believing you're worthy of it.
Until we feel that we're worthy, we will always self-sabotage. We will always push it away.
Oh, man. Oh my gosh. I think this has been a great episode. We better end this one there. I think that's really beautiful. Gosh, I feel like we could explore the quantum realm and all the theories, the science, and then trying to boiling it into like, oh, okay, how is it going to help us today? This is so good, Jade. This is so good. Yes. Yeah. So let's thanks for listening to the Blissful Breakfast. This has been an impromptu episode of Quantum Goodness. Thank you, Jade, for joining me on this action.
It really is my pleasure.
Okay. Wait, one tip for you, Jade, before we end this one. What's something that can help? Another thing that can help us to like love ourselves or to feel that self-worth. That seems kind of esoteric. Or how do you love yourself? How do you learn to love yourself?
You know what? One of like my part of my journey to self-love, believe it or not, a critical part of it has actually come through astrology. Because in that I have seen my soul's, so much of my soul's personality and life path choices. And so it's like, okay, these are some, I chose my parents, I chose these things that hurt me. And so it's not a surprise, it's like, I chose the lessons. I needed the lessons to move to new places. And so it's okay. There's no reason to hate myself, because I wanted to learn this, and so it was like this, I don't know. It's helped to give me grace. Like the more I can give myself grace, the more I can love myself. And when I realized that I chose to incarnate on this planet where things are really difficult, like I chose to take the tough lessons. Like I chose to make mistakes, and also seeing mistakes as a part of life. Like that helps me love myself. Like I tell Emmy that it's normal to make mistakes and that she has to make mistakes if she wants to learn and grow. Why would I tell myself anything else? Because I'm an adult? Or how does that change the nature of learning? And so it's like when I think of life as this big, I'm trying to think of life as like a playground now, right?
Yes, that's the best way. It's all about fun and joy and playing and knowing you're gonna goof it up.
You're gonna fuck it up, and so like just try not to be too afraid of it because it's part of it. It's the journey. Pero every day is an opportunity to create an experiential and educational masterpiece. Every day is an opportunity to become who I want to be. And so when for me, self-love really comes from a perspective of how I approach myself, And so it's like when I remember who I am beyond this, like the me inside of me, the observer, the knower. And when I remember that I am that person and that I chose this shit, like to learn and grow. And because, and we can talk about this more in other episodes because we're on the same, it's like, because I am God incarnate experiencing life. I am God experiencing God.
Oh my gosh.
Doesn't really matter what I fucking do, though I want to make a difference.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Yes.
My heart in the right place and just keep moving forward and just trying to move forward in love and a high vibration and a desire to serve. Like, I'm going to fuck shit up, but it'll be okay. And you know what? Actually, I've had my heart in a terrible place and I've done terrible things. And I'm pretty sure I became the devil himself. Like, I was an asshole, man. Massive asshole. Holy shit. And you know what? That was quite a learning experience. I learned that even the devil is not happy because he has to live with himself, or she has to live with herself. Whatever. They have to live with themselves. And that's a miserable existence. It sucks to be an asshole, even if they appear to be having fun. And so it's like, it's an experience. Don't judge it. It's easier to love yourself.
Oh my gosh. There you go. One-stop shop.
Sorry.
No, that was the one-stop shop to love yourself right there by Jade.
I'm just keeping myself anchored in that perspective because that is hard.
That is so good. I want a t-shirt of the asshole. What was the quote again? It's no, it already slipped my mind.
Even the asshole doesn't like living with himself, or
it's tough to be an asshole, or it's hard to be an asshole. Was that what it was? It was simple.
It can be fun to be an asshole, but you still have to live with yourself.
Yeah. Well, I think we have a whole t-shirt line coming up. That was so good, and thank you for that, Jade. I think that self-love is so important. I'll give one, like a practical tip, like on the daily, that you can do to sort of reinforce everything Jade talked about, and shifting your mindset, giving yourself grace, and knowing that you're going to fail, knowing that you're going to suck, and just accept it, is like Mel Robbins in her recent book. She has like this high five method of just like giving yourself a high five in the mirror. I'm sure you may be aware of that. You do that?
I do. And then I high five people as much as I can.
Dude, all good for you. Oh my God. Of course you do. Yeah. Oh man. So do you feel like that kind of helps? Like gives you a little juice, the little like high five in the
Actually,
mirror?
you know what? I haven't been doing it for like the last week, and I've been feeling that.
You know what? We should get it going on.
Yeah,
I haven't been doing it either. I do it every once in a while, but
it brings up like a really positive energy and like
yeah.
everybody, you know?
Yeah, when you engage like your physiology with like an intention of like, hey, you know, I support you. I'm with you. I vote your victory. And even just staring at your eyes in the mirror, just staring at yourself, it's super awkward, but just stare at yourself and muster up the courage to say, I love you. And you'll be like, this is so dumb. But like little things like that can like help reinforce the whole works.
Oh, so much. I was actually just thinking about it this morning. Like we need to celebrate our successes as much as we need to review where we've fallen short. Like celebrating success, like it tells your body that you have done it. It completes a stress cycle. It like, it's like you're talking to your mind and you're telling it your new truth. Like it speeds up manifestation. I tell myself that I'm doing a great job.
Yes. Yes. Oh man. This is amazing, Jade. All right, let's wrap up this. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say you're hitting it on multiple sensory levels. So
yes. It's the whole pack. Like we need to hit at every angle because it's a journey. It's challenging to override all the programming that we've had. And so, yeah, we like Jade and I like to find that bliss, to get into that blissful state and to reinforce these truths that we're trying to rediscover. It takes the high fives, it takes the mindset, it takes the meditation, it takes the works. And so like finding bliss, it's not just this like on and off switch. It can be, and I believe it can be. And like my goal is to get that on switch on all the time. But unfortunately, we're in this weird ass earth, and we constantly have these lessons to learn and these ups and downs to go through. So yeah, like all as much as you can, and even just one thing, just the high five, just the little mindset shift. Oh, you know, is it okay? I made this mistake. Oh, okay. Maybe I'll give myself a little grace. Every little bit helps on that journey to bliss.
Absolutely. It's like you gotta have the things adding up.
Yeah. Stack the habits, stack the things. All right, we're wrapping this up for reals this time.
Right.
Like and subscribe, leave a comment on YouTube, leave a review if you're listening on Spotify or iTunes or all that goodness. I love you and stay blessed.